she still sets the table for two. Every morning, Amy makes coffee like he's going to walk in. Even after all these years, part of her believes Ty will return. When season 19 opened with her alone in the barn, brushing Spartan in silence, no one expected what would come next. But to understand why that one look from her nearly broke the screen, we have to go back to everything she went through without him. Amy Fleming never truly moved on. After Ty died in season 14, the entire world of Heartland shifted. The show didn't just lose a character, it lost its heartbeat. Ty and Amy had been through everything together. They met as teenagers. They built the ranch, raised Lyndy, and created a life rooted in love and struggle. When Ty died from a blood clot, Amy didn't just lose her husband. She lost her best friend, her safe place, her future. Season 15 showed her barely holding things together. She smiled for Lyndy, worked with horses, and stayed strong for the family. But fans noticed the weight in her eyes, the sadness that never left. Amy stopped talking about Ty out loud, but she never stopped thinking about him. Even when Jack or Lou tried to help her heal, Amy held it all in. And while the rest of the family started moving forward, Amy stayed emotionally frozen. By season 18, Lyndy had grown. She asked more questions about her dad. Amy always answered with a soft voice and gentle eyes, but inside she was still shattered. There were moments when she visited Ty's grave alone at night, not saying anything, just standing in silence. The directors didn't need music in those scenes. Amy's quiet grief said everything. In the early trailers for season 19, fans noticed something different. Amy smiled a bit more. She seemed lighter. People began to wonder, had she finally begun to heal? Was she opening her heart to new possibilities? Or had she just learned to carry the pain better? One moment from the teaser caught everyone's attention. Amy standing by the barn, pausing mid-step as if she had seen a ghost. That image burned into fans' minds before episode 1 even aired. When the episode began, there was no warning. Just peaceful shots of the ranch, horses grazing, birds singing. Amy was brushing Spartan, focused and calm. Then something in the distance caught her attention. She turned her head slowly, the brush falling from her hand. The camera stayed on her face, wide eyes, trembling lips. Not a single word was said. That one moment sent the entire fan base into a frenzy. Was she seeing someone? Remembering something? Or was it really him? After years of mourning, silence, and quiet pain, the audience was suddenly yanked back into Amy's emotional world. All the walls she had built since Ty's death began to shake. And the truth is, no matter how many years pass, some loves never die. For Amy, that love was never buried. It just waited quietly for the right moment to break through the pain. And when it did, even the strongest hearts watching from home felt it. The moment lasted only a few seconds, but for Amy, it stretched like forever. As she stood by Spartan, her hand still halfway through the horse's mane, her entire body froze. Her eyes locked on a figure standing just beyond the paddock, near the fence where Ty used to lean every morning with his coffee, watching the sun rise over Heartland. There was no sound, no music, just wind brushing through the tall grass. And there he was, Ty Borden. He wasn't older. He wasn't worn or ghost-like. He looked exactly like he did the last time she saw him alive, rugged, calm, wearing that familiar jacket she had once folded and kept in a chest. His arms were at his sides, his eyes fixed directly on her. Not the ranch, not the horse, her. It was as if time had bent itself backward. Amy didn't breathe. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Spartan shifted under her hand, sensing something strange, but Amy didn't move. Her entire world had narrowed to that one vision, that one impossible image. The same man she watched die in the hospital, whose funeral she attended, whose loss changed everything. He was standing just feet away. The show didn't jump to any dramatic twist. It didn't give us answers. The camera stayed locked on Amy's face. Her eyebrows pulled together as if trying to understand what her heart already knew, but her mind couldn't accept. Then slowly, She stepped forward. 1 foot, then another. But the closer she walked, the blurrier the image became, not to the viewer, but in her own eyes, filled now with tears. Ty didn't say anything. He didn't move. He just watched her, like he always did when she was deep in thought, unsure of herself. It was a look full of love, of peace, but also of goodbye. And then he was gone. The fence stood empty. The wind carried nothing but silence. Amy gasped softly, blinking hard, and looked around as if hoping he might reappear. But he didn't. The moment had passed, just like that. Fans were stunned. Was it a vision? A dream? A spiritual visit? Or something more layered? A memory so powerful it took physical shape in her healing mind. The beauty of this scene was in its silence, in how it made both Amy and the audience question everything. What hurt the most was that Amy didn't cry right away. She just stood there, hands trembling, staring at the space where Ty had been, her breathing uneven, her heart full. She whispered something too quiet for us to hear, perhaps only meant for Ty. Maybe it was, "I miss you." Maybe it was, "Thank you." Or maybe it was simply his name. This wasn't just a fan service moment. This was a storytelling masterstroke. Because it wasn't about whether Ty was really there. It was about Amy's journey, about how the pain she carried had turned into something softer, something spiritual, something beautiful. Heartland didn't need CGI explosions or dramatic soundtracks to move millions. All it needed was Amy, a fence post, and the impossible return of the man she never stopped loving. She didn't scream. She didn't run. She didn't fall to her knees like a dramatic movie moment. What Amy did was far more powerful. She stood, completely still, her entire soul caught between reality and memory. After Ty's image vanished, she touched the wooden fence where he had just stood. Her fingers brushed it softly like she was hoping to feel warmth. But the wood was cold. Still, she didn't pull her hand back. Amy's reaction wasn't loud, but it was deeply emotional. Her breath hitched. Her shoulders trembled slightly, not in fear, but in heartbreak. Her lips moved again, trying to form his name, but the word never escaped. Her eyes, full of tears, searched the empty space ahead as if willing him back. There was so much unsaid, so many things left hanging in the years since Ty had gone. She took a step backward and leaned against Spartan, the only thing solid in that moment. Spartan nudged her gently, grounding her in the now. That simple gesture, from the horse who had always known her heart, made something break inside her. That's when a single tear rolled down her cheek. Quiet, unforced, real. It wasn't just grief, it was longing, confusion, and something else too. Something like peace. Amy wasn't sure if what she saw was a ghost, a daydream, or her heart playing tricks. But it felt too real, too clear, and too full of love to be just a thought. She whispered quietly, "Was that really you?" As if Ty might answer. The silence that followed was deep, but not empty. It was filled with everything they had shared. Rides across the fields, kisses under the stars, nights spent by the fire with Lyndy asleep nearby. Later, when she walked into the house, Lou noticed her face and asked, "Amy, are you okay?" Amy just nodded slowly and replied, "I saw him." Lou didn't push. She knew exactly who Amy meant. There was no need to explain. The entire house felt different that evening, like something sacred had passed through. The next day, Amy went to Ty's grave. She didn't cry like she had before. She knelt and placed a new flower down, not because she was sad, but because she was thankful. "You came back," she said softly, "even just for a moment. You came back." Amy's reaction wasn't about clinging to the past. It was about accepting it, about finally letting her heart open wide enough to feel again. That one glimpse of Ty didn't trap her. It freed her. She smiled a little as she stood up from his grave. A real smile, one that said, "I will always love you. But now, I can keep living too." It was this delicate mix of pain and comfort that left fans speechless. Because healing doesn't always look like happiness. Sometimes it looks like seeing the one person you've missed the most, if only for a heartbeat, and realizing you're strong enough to say goodbye without breaking. It wasn't just Amy who questioned what she saw. Viewers across the world hit pause, rewound the moment, and stared at the screen with disbelief. That wasn't a shadow. It wasn't a blur or some clever flashback editing. It was Ty, alive, breathing, standing just feet from Amy. But how? Why? And what did it mean? The camera gave no clues, no filters, no glowing edges, no dreamlike haze. The lighting was natural, the environment real. The show didn't frame it as a dream. And that was what made it so haunting. Because maybe, just maybe, it wasn't one. Heartland has always been grounded in emotional truth, not fantasy. But over the years, it's quietly allowed moments that feel otherworldly, where love, memory, and grief mix into something that doesn't need to follow rules. Ty's appearance in Season 19, Episode 1 walks that razor-thin line between vision and reality, and that's what makes it unforgettable. Some fans say it was a spiritual visit, that Ty came back because Amy was finally ready to see him, not with her eyes, but with her heart. They believe it was Ty's way of saying, "You're not alone. You never were." It wasn't about haunting, it was about healing. One final goodbye, or maybe one final hello. But others have gone deeper. They point to tiny clues, the timing of the visit, just as Amy begins opening her heart again, the way Spartan reacted, sensing something, the silence in the air, thick like it was holding its breath. And then there's the fact that Amy wasn't asleep. She wasn't meditating. She wasn't even thinking about Ty. She was simply living, present in the moment. And he appeared. Could the writers be teasing something bigger? Is it possible Ty survived somehow? Was his death faked? Is there a parallel storyline coming, perhaps with a twist involving trauma, memory loss, or hidden identity? As far-fetched as it may sound, this scene planted enough mystery to keep those theories alive. Even Graham Wardle's return, even if brief, opened up 1,000 questions. Was this a one-time appearance, or the first of many? Could Ty return again, perhaps, in more than just a vision? The showrunners have kept their answers quiet, but the silence only adds to the magic. And then there's Amy's face. That look she gave when she saw him wasn't just shock. It was recognition, deep, soul-shaking recognition, the kind that doesn't come from imagination. It comes from truth, from years of knowing someone so well that even their breath feels familiar. That kind of connection doesn't just appear for no reason. Heartland has always honored love, not just the soft parts, but the painful, beautiful, confusing parts. Ty's appearance is not a stunt. It's a message, one that says, some bonds never fade. Some people stay with you, even after they're gone. And sometimes love shows up when you least expect it. Not to stay, but to remind you who you are. So, is Ty really alive? That's the wrong question. The right one is, what does it mean to truly live on? In memories, in love, in the way someone's presence shapes your soul forever? For Amy, the answer came in the wind, in the fence line, in a quiet heartbeat that said, he's still with me, and he always will be. The second the episode aired, the internet caught fire. No one was ready. No warning, no teaser, no leaked clip, just a moment that hit like an emotional earthquake. Within minutes, Downer Ty Borden and Donner Heartland 19 were trending worldwide. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit lit up like a digital bonfire fueled by one burning question. Was that really Ty Borden? Some fans cried on camera, uploading reaction videos where their voices cracked and tears streamed down their faces. Others just sat in stunned silence, hands over their mouths, processing what they'd just seen. One tweet went viral with just 5 words and a blurry screenshot. I knew he'd come back. It got over 2 million views in a few hours. Fan Theories exploded across Reddit threads and comment sections. Some viewers dissected the lighting and frame rate like forensic experts, trying to figure out whether Ty was real, a ghost, a dream, or something else. Others zoomed in on Amy's facial expressions, reading every blink and breath like it was a secret message. A few even pointed out that Spartan, the horse, seemed to respond, turning his head in the same direction as Amy, as if he saw Ty too. One of the most emotional fan posts came from a woman who had lost her husband 2 years ago. She wrote, "Seeing Ty again reminded me of how my husband still shows up in little ways. Grief never leaves, but moments like these, they make you feel seen." That comment alone sparked a wave of replies from people sharing their own stories of love, loss, and healing. Suddenly, the Heartland fandom wasn't just about a TV show, it was a global support group. Instagram pages dedicated to Heartland posted side-by-side photos of Amy and Ty from earlier seasons compared to this new scene. The change in Amy was subtle but powerful, older, wiser, gentler. Ty looked exactly the same. It was like love had paused time for him. Some fans even speculated that the writers had been planning this moment for years. That subtle signs were scattered across seasons 16 and 17. Little mentions of Ty, Amy's long, silent stares, Lyndy asking about her dad more often. Now, with hindsight, every tiny detail feels like a breadcrumb leading to this scene. Fan artists also jumped in. In just hours, dozens of digital paintings and sketches flooded Twitter and Tumblr. Amy reaching out to Ty, Ty fading into light, or the two of them standing under the stars one last time. The emotion behind every post was raw, real, and deeply connected. But it wasn't just the fans, even cast members responded. Amber Marshall posted a single heart emoji and a photo of Amy looking stunned, no caption needed. Graham Wardle remained silent, but his last cryptic post from weeks ago suddenly made sense. Sometimes, silence says everything. YouTube exploded with breakdown videos, theory deep dives, and emotional reactions. Some creators had never even covered Heartland before, but this scene drew in viewers from outside the fandom. Why? Because everyone understands the feeling of missing someone. Everyone knows what it means to love someone so deeply that even a glimpse can undo you. In the end, the scene didn't just revive Ty Borden. It revived something in the fans too. It reminded them why they fell in love with Heartland in the first place. Not for action or big twists, but for those quiet, deeply human moments that feel more real than life itself. The moment Ty appeared and vanished didn't just shake Amy. It cracked open something she had kept buried for years. For the first time since his death, she wasn't just remembering him. She felt him, and that changes everything. Because now the question isn't whether she can live without Ty. It's whether she's finally ready to live for herself. Amy has spent years surviving, not living. Her days were filled with work, with being a mother, a daughter, a sister. But in private, she stayed emotionally frozen, still wearing ties. Old hoodie on cold nights, still watching the sunrise alone from their favorite spot. Even when life moved forward, Amy held herself back. But Ty's return, real or not, ignited something in her. Not grief, not more sadness. Something softer, something braver. A feeling she hadn't allowed herself in a long time. Release. As if Ty had come not to haunt her, but to free her, to remind her that he never wanted her stuck in a memory. He wanted her to smile again, to love again. And now, Amy faces a choice. She could close herself off again, pretending it didn't happen. Or she could open her heart to what's next. She could embrace the possibility that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means carrying someone with you into a new chapter. Lyndy, too, is growing. She's asking deeper questions about her father, about love, about what family means. Amy now has a chance to show her daughter something powerful, that even after great loss, life can still bloom. That strength isn't about holding in your tears. It's about choosing to live with an open heart, no matter how many times it breaks. This moment also raises questions about future relationships. Is Amy ready to fall in love again? Could there be someone new down the road? Not someone to replace Ty, but someone to meet her where she is now, shaped by loss, but still full of love to give. Fans have long debated if Amy should remain single forever as a symbol of eternal devotion, or if she deserves to find joy again. This scene doesn't answer that directly, but it nudges the door open. There's also a bigger emotional shift happening. Amy no longer walks through Heartland looking like a woman trapped in memories. After seeing Ty, whether as a vision or a message, she walks with her shoulders just a little lighter, her eyes a little brighter. It's subtle, but unmistakable. A weight has been lifted. This isn't the end of Amy and Ty's love story. It's the beginning of her next one. A story that includes everything they built together, but now makes space for new growth, for new mornings that don't begin with pain, for laughter that doesn't feel guilty, for healing that doesn't erase the past, but honors it. And so, the future of Amy Fleming doesn't look like forgetting. It looks like remembering, and still choosing to move forward. That one quiet visit from Ty may have done what years of silence couldn't. It reminded her that she's not broken. She's still becoming. And maybe, just maybe, the most powerful way to honor a lost love is to live the kind of life they'd still be proud of. It wasn't a reunion. It wasn't a resurrection. It was something more sacred, an echo of love that refused to fade. In those few silent seconds when Amy saw Ty, Heartland gave us more than just a powerful scene. It gave us closure, the kind that doesn't arrive loudly but like a whisper you didn't know you needed. Amy didn't get a dramatic hug or a long farewell speech. There were no flashbacks, no swelling music. And yet, it was one of the most emotional moments the show has ever delivered. Why? Because that's how real grief works. It lingers quietly. It fades, only to rise again when you least expect it. But sometimes, just sometimes, it gives you one last gift. Peace. For years, Amy carried love and pain together. Every ride through the ranch, every sunrise, every step in the barnyard was haunted by what she lost. But that brief encounter, whether spirit, dream, or memory, broke something open. And what poured out wasn't more grief. It was grace. It told Amy and the audience that closure doesn't mean forgetting. It means being able to remember without breaking, to smile without guilt, to speak their name without tears choking the words. Ty's silent return wasn't about him, it was about her, about giving her the strength to finally move forward without letting go. And maybe that's why fans around the world felt it so deeply. Because all of us, at some point, carry someone we've lost, and we all hope for that one quiet moment where love comes back. Not to stay, but to say, you're doing okay. You can keep going.